I go by Mayank and Maya. I am a genderqueer artist researcher whose work is spread across various mediums and disciplines, but I'm particularly interested in performativity of images. My most recent project, Queer Childhoods, has sought to reclaim not just the time but also the idea of childhood itself as queer, built on conversations with other queer individuals about their childhood photographs. I have attempted to move beyond what can be seen in the image, but also to see beyond, what is suppressed inside the image, various sort of subjectivities, imaginaries, which we may not be able to see, but we can listen to them. In my work, I have also attempted to sort of treat memory and history not just as something that is in the past, but something that is actively reproduced in the present. For this theatre photography grant, the submission that I made was a new project called Guernica. The title is actually an ironic allusion to Guernica, the famous painting by Picasso that denotes the destruction and the loss of the city of Guernica through fascist forces. Behind the masterpiece in which the genius figure of Picasso is constructed, there is another artist, Dora Maar, young and rising photographer at the time. And while making that painting, Picasso borrowed techniques and influences from her photography and her darkroom practices. In fact, in like this sort of construction of the, white European male genius figure of the artist, there is always this history of extraction and manipulation that has been forgotten. So I guess in making Guernica, I'm sort of like making a symbolic move back to photography in the way Dora Maar did it. And the idea is to make like a large scale montage of photographs that are spread across the city but also across time and history. And I am interested in retracing queerness in history but also in various spaces in the city. And sort of before, there is this colonial rewriting of queerness as criminal. Also, as an artist, I think it is important that I'm also able to fabulate into history what may not be found in the archive, what may have been erased or forgotten in the archives. And I guess in that way, Guernica will be like a queer reclamation of the city itself, visibilizing the violence of history and also how sort of history has been enacted. I guess these photographs will be performances that will restage that history along with fabulations and fantasies involved in it. I guess therefore Guernica is in a way another reimagining of a city lost, but perhaps of a city that may never have existed.
My name is Shashwat Das, and I am a lens based artist born and brought up in Delhi. My current body of work, Jungle Mahal, is a visual inquiry into the layered landscapes of Purulia, West Bengal, and is shaped by the belief that terrain and body, or Mati Manush, carries and embeds memory. This region has had a long history of resistance, much of it never written down and only carried forward through oral traditions. While working on Jungle Mahal, the center and the core of it is Chau, a traditional dance form rooted in martial practice. I approach Chau not as a spectacle but as a memory in motion. The word itself, Chau, comes from Chauni or military camps. Historically, it was used as military practice by guerrilla warfare and guerrilla troops between skirmishes with the British. Even now, Chau is, as it is performed in Purulia, is performed in a circular arena with two groups opposing each other. They almost mimic the structure of a combat through what they call as palas. The project responds to these counter narratives embedded within the region's fabric and seeks to build a vocabulary of resistance. While the project is grounded in anthropology, the images move towards an emotionally charged performative space. This allows me to engage with the tensions that are often invisible but deeply present in the region. This work could not have been possible without collaboration with people like Rothuda, who have been my close confidant, and several amazing Chow dancers and people living in the region. As the project evolved, I developed an alternative contact printing process called ferrobotanical prints. I used Polash, the flame of forest, an element of pride in the region, and iron salts, an element of desecration, to create prints out of their own organic emulsion. This allows these elements to become narrative epicenters of conversation apart from just my images. Ultimately, Jungle Mahal reflects on how bodies and landscape remember and how subtle forms of resistance continue to persist even when they are pushed to the margins. I would like to thank the Alkazi Theatre Archive and the jury for the special mention in the Theatre Photography Grant and for recognizing this body of work of mine.